All right, so here is the opening screen to Adobe Premiere Pro. You can go to your recent files here, or you can start a new project, or you can open a project that you don't see here. Either one's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to start a new project. So we're just going to call this one tutorial number 1. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it to my desktop. I like to save them to my desktop just because they don't take up any space. Basically, a project file is a skeleton. It's not the files itself, so it's not a very large file. But I like to keep it on my desktop because it's easy to remove, take off whenever you're done. It's just easier for file management. So you don't lose it somewhere in your hard drive or something like that. So yeah, and I'm not editing many projects at a time. Oftentimes I'm only editing 1 or 2 at a time. So you just go to hit OK, and you start the project. And just a real quick brief on what things are. This right here is your preview window. This right here is your sequence preview menu or window. And down here is all your media files, your libraries, your info, and the effects, basically all the stuff that it says here. And I'll explain that a little bit more. Down here is your timeline and your sequence. Now, this is where I got confused. This whole entire thing is a project. So this right here is just a project. It's not a it's not your finished product. It's what your finished product will live in. So to import your files, which you'll need, you can go in here and you can go to you just double click in here, double click in your project tutorial area, and you find a file that you want to, or documents that you want to import. So for me, when I work in news, I'll go ahead and pull these up. I'll pull up these zoo files that I shot when I worked in news. So I won't get them all. In fact, you know what? Let's go with this Chapel Hill protest. Some exciting stuff. So we'll import that. So you got it all selected. Then you import. And boom, there you are. There are all your files right here for your project. And you can import more files. You can do whatever you want. So if you want to preview what you're going to be looking at, you just double click. And you can just preview what it is. And that's exactly what you get. Now, like I said, a sequence, it's different. That's where your timeline lives, and your timeline is very important. So we're going to start a new sequence. If you have a Mac, it is Command N, and then you can go into sequence name. We'll call this one tutorial 1.1. Oops. 0.1. So this is something that you need to look into. Last thing I did was drone video. So that's going to be this 4K format. So particularly, you probably won't need that unless you're editing drone video. In drone video, I would edit at 2880p. And possibly if you want to keep it a low quality, you can do it at 1080p. Just won't look as good. But for editing sake, right now, I'm going to go to my custom one, and this is 1920 by 1080 at 23.976 frames per second. If you need to know exactly what I have in here, this is exactly what it is, all right here. All right, so we have that. You can go to your timeline. So a cool way that you can expand these so you can see them better is holding the shift key, and you can expand all of them at the same time, or you can just do them individually. So see there, it's fairly simple. So I'm going to expand mine just a little bit, and same thing with the audio files. So in each clip, you have audio files that live in with those clips. And if you're shooting drone, you may not have audio files in that clip. And when I shot this stuff, it was an XD cam, so it had 4 channels on it of audio. I'm pretty sure I only have audio on audio channel 3 and 4, so I'm just going to do the 3, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring it up so it's easy to work with. So I'll go up there. Well, I guess it's not going to go up there. So yes, like I was saying, you have audio channel 3, video 1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of these clips and see what we have here. And also, another thing, when I shot this, I was blowing out my mic on audio channels 1, 2. So I'm going to fix that right now. So I'm going to go to Modify, Audio Channels, and then deselect Audio Channels 1 and 2. So that way I'm just only listening to 3 and 4. So I'm going to go back down here and find some of the interesting stuff. This was a protest that happened at Chapel Hill. It was pretty heated at some times. I'm pretty sure 7 people got arrested. All that fun jazz. So we'll go with an interesting opening scene of all the riot gear. So let's back that up. Okay, so, alright, sorry. Hotkeys or keystrokes are very important when editing. So right now, 2 that you need to keep in mind are J, K, and L. J is your reverse. L is your forward. And then spacebar is your pause, and K is also your pause. So see, right there. So J is reverse, K is pause, L is forward. So I'm going to back it up some just before I pan up and see the officer. So we're going to bring that up and then see the officer, and then we'll cut it there. All right, so put this down on your timeline. Very, very simple. Why is this stuff like that? I don't know why I did that. Anyhow, so put it down on your timeline. You have 2 options. You can either do the comma button or the period button. And basically what it is insert or just add. So here's an add. And then we can zoom in on that timeline by pressing the plus button. You can zoom in on that. And then, so let's say we wanted to insert another clip here. So you would hit the comma. And if you back it up, you can see that it inserted this clip in between these 2. So we cut that right into. So I don't want that right now, but just an example as to what that is. And then, so we can go and get video of people just, and we can add that there. So another keystroke here. I, that's your endpoint. So you can see here, I've got my endpoint right here. I created that with I. And then if I want to end it, O. So that's where it goes. And then to put it down, like I said, period. One thing I forgot to mention was how to get rid of your in and out points if you want to. So what you can do is you can hold your Option key down on a Mac, and then you hit X. And that gets rid of your in and out points. So another way that you can do that too is, let's say, create it in there and out there. And let's say you just want to get rid of your endpoint. So you just hit Option I. So that's another way to get rid of your endpoint. If you want to get rid of your out point, you just hold down Option and then O. So that gets rid of your option or your out. So we're going to get rid of all that and go to somewhere else. So it was a very hectic day. This guy just liked getting in front of the camera and blocking our shot because he didn't want us to film there. He's a character. So there's that. All right, now I know what you're asking. Why does my video look so small in the window? Well, that's because of your format, but that's easily fixed. You just select it all, hit right click it, and then you can go to set frame size. And then it just fixes it to set it for your frame size. All right, so that's how to get your video onto a timeline, how to edit it. Other things that you can do is, if quick editing, is you can put your cursor over a clip and you can bring it in like that. Or you can hit the keystroke C and you can bring up your blade. So you bring up the blade and you can just chop up your video however you want. And that's one way of doing it. And then if you're in the blade tool and you want to get rid of it, all you have to do is, oops, I went back too far, hit the V button. So the V button will change it just to back to your cursor. Now my video got too small for the frame because I went backwards too much, but easily fixed. Now for exporting. Exporting is fairly simple, but you need to understand your formatting. And I'll make this simple for everyone. So File, Export, Media. Now what it's going to do is it's going to export this that was on your sequence. So you can look at it and see it's going to export that whole sequence as far as the video goes. So you want to export it at H.264. That's a pretty good setting for your YouTube videos, for Facebook, things like that. And then you want to keep it at I usually do YouTube 1080p HD just because I like to keep the quality up. But if you're also exporting drone video, I would export it at 4K just because it will make it look better, and it holds quality up really well. So once you do that, you want to figure out where you want it to go. So here's the output name, and you click on that, and you can tell it where to go by just hitting this drop down menu. And I'm just going to put it onto my desktop. We'll call it tutorial 1.0 or 1.1. So we just hit export, and it's going to export the whole project. So fairly simple. And now it's telling me it exported successfully. Thank you. All right, and then we're going to go to our desktop, and then here's the video. So yeah, there you have it. Just that simple. I would encourage you to play around with it. So yeah, good luck and have fun.